Hello students, welcome to my channel LP Edutech. If you are really new to my channel, please like, share and subscribe my channel. Today we are going to start with the fourth number lesson of Civics Standard 8, entitled as the Indian Judicial System. So let us see. Now, along with the legislature and the executive, the judiciary too is an important organ of the government. In the last few chapters, we learned about the legislature, executive, and the judiciaries. That legislature makes the law, executive implements it, and judiciary gives justice to it. While the legislature makes the laws, executive implements the laws, and judiciary gives justice. In this chapter, we will learn how judiciary works to give justice and thereby helps in removing injustice in the society and establishes a healthy society. Why it is called as a healthy society? Because when there is an injustice is removed, the people get satisfaction and justice prevail. So it becomes healthy society, that is free from ill effects. But before that, let us understand why giving justice is necessary. Opinions, thoughts, perspective, beliefs, faith, and culture differ from person to person. Every person is different from the thoughts, opinions, his point of view, his belief, faith, and his culture, right? As we have India, and there is a various diversity in India. So there is unity in diversity, but if people are tolerant, they can avoid conflicts. The people are tolerant, that means if they able to bear the things, and if they are very impartial about their religion, they can avoid the conflicts if they live with the harmony. But if differences of opinions are very sharp, they may lead to conflicts. Okay, but if there is sharp difference on the basis of race, culture, sex, tradition, okay, opinions, then it becomes difficult to solve. They should be resolved impartially and in accordance with the laws. So whatever problem we face in the society, that has to be resolved without any bias and without any impartiality, that is very much clearly and partially it is, and in accordance with the laws, and that to be fitted in the laws. For this purpose, an unbiased judicial machinery is required. So therefore our Indian judicial system is established. Now let us see. Now the conflict of interest may arise between individuals and the government, right? Everyone is different on their opinion, judgment, point of view, so there may conflict arise. A decision or law made by the government may seem unfair to people and they may approach the court for justice. People can go to the court for justice against the government as well if they feel this decision is not fitted in the laws, it is against of the constitution. Now, before we go ahead, just try to understand this judiciary. The judiciary is the third branch of the Indian government, and in Indian judiciary what includes? The very first, at the beginning low level, we have a Nyaya Panchayat. We are starting from the right. Nyaya Panchayat, that is whatever problems, struggles and points of differences we have, that is solved in the village. At the village level it is working, Nyaya Panchayat. Okay. Then if it's not solved, it can go to the district court, that is civil or criminal revenue, that is different parts, but it go to the district court if we are not satisfied with the decision given by the Nyaya Panchayat. Again, we are not at all satisfied the decision given by the district court, we go to the high court, right? We can approach to the high court, which is the highest in the state. Highest judicial system in the state is high court, and even though we are not satisfied the decision given by the high court, we can lastly reach to the Supreme Court, which is one established and located at Delhi. So this is the image of Supreme Court, you can see here. High Court, Supreme Court is the one in the country. High courts are running in every state of the country. Every state has the High Court as the superior judicial body. District courts are everywhere in the every district of the state. It is in every district of the court. And this is Nyaya Panchayat running at the local level, that is at the villages. So this is our structure. The government tries to implement the objectives of social justice and equality laid down in the constitution. Now, what are the objectives of social justice? Now, here in the preamble, it is given the objectives of social justice. That we want justice in the forms of social, economic, and political justice. In this area, justice can be given, liberty of thoughts and expression can be given, belief, faith, and worship. Equality of status and opportunity we want, so that can be given. So, this is the objective of social justice and equality laid down in the constitution, that is given in the constitution. The judiciary, through its decisions in certain cases or through active involvement, can support the government. The court can help to bring the weaker sections of society, women, children, differently able, that is handicapped person, and transgender into the mainstream of society. Okay, transgender, that means those people who are not sure about their sex, transgenders. Now you must be knowing that concept. So the government, the court can help to bring the weaker section. Now which are the weaker section of the society? Women, children, differently able, handicapped person, and the transgender. So the court system tries to bring these people in the mainstream of society. They bring in the mainstream of society so that they can get equal justice. They can live life happily and healthily. When the common man benefits from the values of freedom, equality, and justice. So these are the values: liberty, equality, liberty, and justice. These are the main values. So, when the common man benefits from these values of freedom, equality, and justice, it leads to the widening and deepening of democracy. So, it is the success of the democracy when these three values are implemented in the society successfully. Okay, so it leads to the widening and deepening of the democracy. It becomes successful, and India is a democratic nation. We have a democracy. This is necessary for the strengthening of democracy. Rule of law is protected by the judiciary. The law treats everyone equality. Rich, poor, forward, backward, men or women, all are equal before law, and this is expressed clearly through judicial decisions. That means all are equal here. So no injustice will be done. Even though the person is men, women, okay, he is backward class or forward class, even though he is rich and the poor, justice will be the same for all. Judiciary helps to protect the rights of people. Conflicts are resolved in accordance with law, and law prevents emergence of repressive and authoritarian groups of the individual. Now next point, structure of the judiciary. India is union of states. It is a union of states, that is, whole country has become with the joining the unions of the states. The center and the constituent states have a separate legislature and executive. The center and the constituent state, central government and the state government, they have a separate legislature and executive, separate system. But there is one judicial system for the whole of India, but it is all bound in one judicial system. There is no division of courts between the center and the constituent states. So there are no divisions. That means all are running according to the one law which is made in India, and according to that rule, whole system is running, even though it is in the central level or the state level. The High Court control the district courts, following which there are lower courts which are at the bottom of this structure. Now, what is the structure? In short, the above figure is the structure. Number one, we have Supreme Court, that is apex court of India. Apex, that is highest court. Number one, Supreme Court. Then second, we have High Court. The High Court at states and union territory levels. There are 24 high courts in India, almost one for every state and union territories, UT. There are total 24 high courts. Then below high courts we have a district and session courts, that in every district it has, every district of every state, district and session courts, generally one in every district or metropolitan area. Then it is district court is again divided into the two categories, that is civil judges and metropolitan magistrate. Okay, according to the type of crime. Now, Supreme Court. The Chief Justice of India, that is CJI, heads the Supreme Court of India. That he is the head of the Supreme Court of India. The person is called the Chief Justice of India. Now, currently, who is the Chief Justice of India? Can anyone tell? Mr. Sharad Arvind Bobde is the current Chief Justice of India. Sharad Arvind Bobde. Now this person, he heads the Supreme Court of India, that he becomes the head of the Supreme Court of India. Those person who is sitting on the post of Chief Justice of India. The President appoints the Chief Justice of India and other judges of Supreme Court. So it is who? It is the President appoints the Chief Justice of India and the Chief Justice of India and the judges of the Supreme Court, even the High Court. By convention, the senior most judge of the Supreme Court is appointed as a Chief Justice. So it is based on the seniority, who has joined first, and the age and the experience, all the criteria is considered. The judiciary should not work under any kind of pressure. Okay, that means they are supposed to work very freely, considering all the rules and regulation laws into their mind, and without any bias and prejudiced view. Should not be under the pressure of politics or any wealthy person or any other person. The judiciary should not work under any kind of pressure. Now, have you seen these images? In these images, you can see the weight. Okay, the symbol of weight, and the both parts are equal. Both sides are equal. That means equal justice is given. So this is a symbol of equality. The independence of judiciary is maintained so as to enable the judges to fearlessly carry out the function of giving justice. So they carry out their work fearlessly. For this purpose, the Constitution has made the following provisions. Now, what are the provisions made in the Constitution to run our Indian judicial system fearlessly without any kind of pressure? Let us see. Now consider these things. The Constitution lays down the eligibility criteria for the judges. So how should be the judge? What are the qualifications? What are the experience required? That is given in the Constitution of India. A legal expert or one having served as the High Court judge or an experienced advocate is considered eligible. So those who have already served in High Court judge or an experienced advocate can be considered as the eligible person. And here are some few norms. He must be the citizen of India, High Court judge for at least 5 years, or High Court advocate for at least 10 years, or distinguished jurist. So these are the things applicable to him. A lawyer can be made a judge by President. CJI, that is Chief Justice of India's permission. He asks junior judges that may lead to corruption or favorism. So therefore it is not acceptable. So Judges are appointed by the president. This helps to avoid any political pressure. Judges enjoy security of tenure. So, what is the security of tenure? That is the given period, that is 5 years. They cannot be removed from the post for trivial reasons or for political motives. If suppose any politician is against of them, so they cannot be removed or they cannot be transferred. Okay, and they are protected. The retirement age of judges of the Supreme Court is 65 years. That means those judges which are working in Supreme Court, they retire at the age of 65, and while for those who are working in High Court, they retire at the age of 62 years. The salaries of judges are drawn from the Consolidated Fund of India. No discussion takes place in Parliament regarding their salaries. Okay, so they have a separate pathway for their salaries, and it is given from the Consolidated Fund of India. Now India have maintained one type of fund, and it is very much protected one, and that is used only for the important persons like the president, judges of the Supreme Court and High Court, Advocate General. So their salary is given from this special fund that is called as a Consolidated Fund of India. Personal criticism cannot be made on judges for their acts and decisions. If they have given any decisions, no one can make any personal criticism. No one criticize that, because people has to accept the decision given by the court. Contempt of court is considered is a punishable offense. Contempt of court, that means if you are not listening to the order of court, not listening or not following the judgment given by the court, it is considered as the contempt of court. That means you have made the insult of court. So this is not at all accepted. Okay, there is a punishment for that. So you have to accept the decision. This not only protects the judges from misguided or wrongful criticism, but also preserves the independence of the judiciary. The Parliament cannot discuss the decision of the judges. That means Parliament is kept aside from the decision given by the judges. Whatever judgment the court gives or the judges give, it cannot be discussed in the Parliament. So there is no interference of the politician or politics in this matter. However, it has the right to remove the judges from their position through the impeachment procedure. But the Parliament has the right to remove the judge from his post, and that process is called impeachment procedure. It is called as impeachment procedure. Next point, judicial activism. Now what is this judicial activism? Now by the title we can get the information. It is the activeness of the judicial system. Let us see. Traditionally the courts settle the disputes or the struggles whenever they are approached for that purpose. Right? So that is the duty of the court, to settle the dispute. In the last few decades, this image of the court has undergone a change, and they have become increasingly active. Now, how the court has become active this means that the court now seeks to fulfillment the constitutional goals of the justice and equality. That means it is fulfilling the goals of justice and equality. The court has tried to provide legal protection to the marginalized section in society. That means the court is giving protection now. Previously, people were fearing for giving the witness or becoming the witness in the court. So what they feared, that the people might attack or their life may be at risk. So the court has tried to provide the legal protection to the marginalized sections in the society: women, tribal, workers, farmers and children. So they are giving legal protections to this weaker section society of women, tribal workers, farmers, and children. How? The public interest litigations have played an important role in this regard. What is this? Public interest litigations. So, what is this public interest litigation? So, it is the litigation for protection of public interest. So, public interest, in order to protect the public interest, this litigation is done. A PIL, that is public interest litigation, may be initiated in a court of law by the aggrieved party, by another party, or by the court itself. So, anyone can initiate this court of law by this aggrieved party, by another party, or by the court itself. PIL is tool by which a court of law can initiate and enforce action to serve and secure significant public interest. So, what are the public interests are kept, saved, and protected through this PIL, public interest litigations. Powers and function of Supreme Court. As a federal court, it has the responsibility to settle dispute between the center and states on one side and states on other sides. That means the dispute between state and the central government can be settled, as well as the dispute between one state and the another state can be solved in the Supreme Court. It may also give order to irrelevant authorities for protection of fundamental rights of citizens. So, he can give the order to the authorities to maintain or protect the fundamental rights of the citizen in particular states, if it is necessary. To review decrees and orders of lower court and also review its own decision. So, it can take a review decrees and the orders of the lower court. Suppose the lower court has given the order, so Supreme Court can review that order on what basis the judgment is given, how is given, is it fair, impartial. Supreme Court has the right. So also review its own decision as well, and the decision given by the High Court also can be reviewed by the Supreme Court. In case the President asks for the advice of the court to understand the legal aspects in matters of public importance and provide the necessary advice. Even the Presidents also ask to the Supreme Court as advice. Any legal advice can be asked by the President to the court for the matter of public importance and provide the necessary advice. So, these are the functions of the Supreme Court. So, students, still here. So, that's it for this video. The next part, that is the judicial review, High Court, functions of the High Court, district, lower courts. Okay, this information will be seen in the next video. That's it for this video. If you really like my videos, please like, share and subscribe it. Thanks for watching.